What's up, T-Bits? It's your girl T, and y'all, I am off for the first time in probably months, y'all. So I wanted some crawfish. I've been seeing them all over, but nobody makes them like me. So I decided to make my own and do my first drop of the season. Y'all, these are my ingredients. I got everything chopped up, everything cut up so I can get ready to get my pot at a little rolling boil, baby, getting this business going. So I have my crawfish here. I bought a sack for what, about half a pound a sack, which was 15 pounds. They did have the full sacks. This is me acting crazy. I was in a vibe, y'all. But I did get a half a pound of sack because it was only about four of us. So I got some head on shrimp and I got some crab legs, being extra, y'all. This is my secret ingredient. If you know, you know. Here I'm just putting some crawfish into a bowl so I can start purging it, because baby, you have got to clean your crawfish. If you know, you know. If you do not purge your crawfish, baby, I don't know what to tell you. It's just gonna be dirty black water like you in a swamp. I was gonna do it outside with my propane tank and all the good things, you know how you do it, but it started to rain, y'all, and it brought in a little breeze, and I was afraid that the wind would just take my whole pan, pot, crawfish, everything on the glory, y'all. So I decided to skip that part. So I just started purging my crawfish, added some salt, let it sit in the water for a little minute, repeated the process, and then I started building my boil pot for the crawfish. So I added some of the orange juice, or aka Sunny D, into the pot, and then I went in with some water. Now I only added it to a certain line because I wanted to save room to add the like vegetables, the fruits, the crawfish, everything, the potatoes. And if you overfill your pot, then it's going to be too much space that doesn't have a lot of room. So right here, I'm just repeating the process, y'all, putting it in the strainer. This strainer is like key. You can get it on Amazon. I love it. You don't have to hold anything. It just does everything for you. So that little guy tried to escape. So I just repeated the process until my water was absolutely clean and clear. And as you see right here, they're all fighting and just waving at me. But here is where I began to start boiling the pot for the crawfish. So I went in with about a half a bag. Y'all, this stuff is really spicy. So I didn't want to put all of it in there because, again, I only got a half a sack. So I put in some Pro Boil from Zatarain's as well. I went in with some onion powder. And I had two of those, y'all. And then I had two of these garlic powders as well, because we have to season the water or it's not going to taste right. Then I went in with some liquid boil. Y'all, it looks big on screen, but this is actually the baby one because it is very spicy as well. And again, I wanted it to have a little kick, but not be overwhelming. So y'all, I went in with my vegetables, which was the onions, the celery, and then the oranges, limes, lemons. Here I cut up some pineapple. Y'all, I'm going to tell y'all a trick. The acid and the sweetness from the orange juice, the pineapples, the sweetness cuts through that spice. So if it is a little spicy, it's not going to be as spicy when you put the acidity in there. So always add some kind of acidity in there. So I went in with my paprika, my Old Bay, my Tony sauce, and then my garlic, of course, with my pineapples is in there. And then I went in with 2 sticks of butter, and then 3 sticks of butter, and then hooray. So I began to just kind of stir it. I put it on a medium to high heat because I didn't want it to like overboil. And see what I told y'all? That pot was starting to get a little bit kind of, lifted a little bit. That's why we don't put a whole lot of liquid in there to start off with. Y'all, here is where I was putting in the dead crawfish. Look, he tried to play possum and act like he was dead, but I got his ass. All right, so I took out the dead crawfish as I went, and then I went in with some garlic. And of course, because I'm extra, I had to add some plates and cups and all that, even the bibs, y'all. So this is me vibing, y'all. I'm getting it together. I'm excited. I got my pot going. Y'all, look at that. It's starting to come to a boil. I got my sausage and my potatoes going in next. Those are the clean crawfish. Y'all see that water? It's super dirty. That's why you have to purge it. Alright, so while that was going on and coming to a boil, I decided to make my butter sauce that I pour over the crawfish. So I have some onions, some regular chopped garlic, and some garlic. Then I have some Old Bay seasoning, some butter, some Paul Pardon. You gotta put that in there if you know, you know. onion powder, garlic powder. We got a little bit of brown sugar. Y'all, again, this is just gonna offset the other flavors, the spice. So don't be afraid to add it. Then y'all put some crushed pepper in there, Italian seasoning, smoked paprika. You gotta add that. It adds the flavor and the color of the smokiness. We went in with some more butter. Just let that do its thing. Come to a simmer, and y'all, I added some lemon juice to give it some more, a little tangy tang and acid. And this is what it started to form like. I put it on low like a simmer so it could start doing this thing. So I left my potatoes in the bag so I don't have to fish them out because they was kind of small. They were the boiled potatoes. Then I put that in there, and baby, the crawfish was ready to drop, honey. So I began dropping that. These are all the dead ones, y'all. Can y'all believe they gave me all them dead crawfish? Anywho, this is what the final product looked like. And I made some homemade tartar sauce. Y'all, I'm so mad that I did not get my my crab and my shrimp on, camera or whatever. But this is the final product. Get with your girl T, and I'll see y'all next time. Deuces.